For this week's speech, I will be discussing something that relates to my life. I guess something that has had a big impact on my life, and that something for me is cars. I'm passionate about cars. I love cars. I actually learned a lot of life lessons through my first car buying experience, and my first car buying experience literally opened the door to adulthood for me. Before purchasing my first car, I was working a minimum wage job, making $7.50 an hour, I do believe, and I was walking to and from that minimum wage job in the cold. I got tired of walking in the cold, so I said, "Hey, I'm gonna save enough money to purchase my first car." I saved that money up, and I saved enough money up in within 4 months, and within 4 months, I had enough money to purchase my first car. Now, with purchasing my first car, I didn't know what all was required or all what went into purchasing a car. I didn't know how to fill out a title. I didn't know that after you purchase a car, you have to get it registered. I didn't know a bill of sale was required, and I didn't know the cost, all the costs that went into registering a car. So, with that being said, with the title, I filled out the title wrong, so I had to go somewhere that was like an hour away to get the title fixed and get some paperwork. I got that paperwork, took it back to the registration office. Still couldn't get it registered because also I didn't know that you have to have current emissions in the state of Georgia. It's basically a safety inspection. So I went to the safety inspection booth, went there, got my car inspected. It passed. That cost $30. For those who didn't know, that cost $30 to get a safety inspection. Took that, went back to the registration office, and got hit with the total, which was $450 to register my first car. I wasn't aware about that total, so I had to borrow some money from my brother to cover the cost of registering my car. But after all is said and done, I was finally able to register my car, and literally those life lessons, I still use them today. After purchasing my first car, 6 months later, I purchased another car. 6 months after that, I purchased another car, and 6 months after that, I purchased another car. And that routine continued for like every 6 months. Every 6 months, I purchased another car because I don't know. I just like different cars, and I just like going through that whole experience. Every transaction, after every transaction, I always learned something new. I learned about car maintenance, car upkeeping, and negotiating on price. I became comfortable speaking to people, negotiating with people about cars and about prices. So my whole first car buying experience was definitely a life lesson, and it definitely introduced me to adulthood, and that's something that would stick with me for the rest of my life.